The U.S. consumer has simply stopped shopping. That according to the latest retail sales that came out this morning. Retail sales down negative, down 0.9%. They were expected to be bad, not quite that bad, at down negative 0.6. Is this the consumer just pulling back because they can't afford anything? Is this the consumer pulling back because they are uncertain, or all of the above? Again, retail sales is a hard data, talking about what we're doing, as opposed to the soft data, which came out last Friday, highlighting the consumer sentiment had dramatically improved. Again, we always got to remember, you might feel one way and act another. This is just another example that the consumer can do both things: feel better and not go shopping. Don't know if you saw the news, but it looks like President Trump has left the G7 meeting. Is this because peace is about to break out in the Middle East, or it is about to get more messy? We will see shortly. Let's hope for peace. Let's hope this thing gets behind us. I think all of us would want that. Oil on the cusp of this is up 2%. Oil is highlighting that there's more stuff coming, unfortunately. 10-year note is down. 10-year note is down 0.03 basis points. Is this because of retail sales and the thought of a recession? Maybe. Is this the thought that the escalation in the Middle East is going to get worse? Let's hope not. We're getting more and more updates on housing, and according to Nick Gurley in Newsweek, again, thank you guys for sending me these articles. Nick says that no one is buying in the state of California. No one is buying, and basically supply is much higher than demand. Supply currently sits at 73,000 active listings. That is the highest since October 2019. Yes, the state of California has more inventory than any time in the 2020s, all the way back to October 2019. Just so you know, we did do about 25,000 homes in California in May, so that puts rough and tough, very simple math, at 3 months supply. Interestingly enough, in this Newsweek article, they go one level deeper and they highlight the cities where there is the most imbalance. Yes, folks, the most imbalance, where there are more sellers than buyers. If you happen to be a flipper or something of that nature in one of these 5 cities, ouch, you need to be careful. You need to cut your losses and stop the carrying cost. We'll go bottom up. We'll go number 5 to number 1. Oakland, California, 36% more sellers than buyers. Anaheim, 38%. Los Angeles, 44%. Sacramento, shout out Matt the Mortgage Guy, 44% more sellers than buyers. And the number 1 market in California where there are more sellers than buyers is Riverside. I've often said, and I've said this for years, that Riverside is one of those markets that moves first, right? It's the first to feel the pain, and it might be the first to come back. So again, Riverside is highlighting that there are more sellers than buyers. Realtor.com is highlighting that active listing growth should be expected to slow. Yes, slow as we get out and through August. They are highlighting that active listing growth is predominantly in the West Coast and the South, aka the Sun Belt, where the Northeast and the Midwest is still very much a seller's market. Very interesting to see the country. Shout out Lance Lambert at Resi Club with all the great data. Really looks like, the West and the South is where all the pain is currently, where it is still very much a seller's market in much of the Northeast and Midwest. JetBlue coming out this morning saying the travel demand is over. Yes, folks, JetBlue is cutting flights and has said that a break-even 2025 is not likely, again, because of weaker travel demand. Steve Eisenman saying we are headed for a recession if the tariffs spark a trade war. Yes, I think we've been hearing that for quite a while. Nick Timiraos, i.e. Nicky Leaks at the Wall Street Journal. Nicky Leaks is obviously a reference to Nick Timiraos from the Wall Street Journal by Meet Kevin, says that it is really interesting to think that the Fed at this meeting, the one that they're having right now and we'll hear about tomorrow, would actually be preparing to cut rates if it wasn't for the uncertainty caused by tariffs. According to Nick, the last 5 years of inflation has really caused the people's perception of inflation to change. Do me a favor, let's congratulate somebody for getting their first deal, their golden ticket. Justin and Tracy, congratulations on getting your first deal. Your card will be going out in the mail this morning. Saw a very interesting report about newlyweds. Newlyweds, according to an article on Yahoo, 67%, 67, so 2 out of 3, newlywed couples took on debt to pay for their wedding. Ouch. Ouch. Ken Griffin out talking about playing defense in times of uncertainty. According to Ken Griffin, playing defense almost always guarantees losses in turbulent times. Back to highlighting just how unbalanced the country is. Again, the Northeast and Midwest article. Of the 200 largest metros, 32, so what is that, 20%? 15%, more like 15%. 15% of them have 50% less active inventory than May of 2019. Interesting because, again, remember, we just talked about California being above 2019. Here are the 5 cities where active inventory is greater than 50% below 19. We'll go again, bottom up. Number 5, Champaign, Illinois. Inventory is 74% down. Bridgeport, Connecticut, down 75%. Hartford, Connecticut, shout out Lumberjack Landlord, 76%. Erie, Pennsylvania, down 77%. And the number 1 market with inventory below 2019 is Peoria, Illinois. Interestingly enough, if you were to look at all 32 markets, only 1 city is west of the Mississippi. And you will never guess it because I never would. The city, the only city west of the Mississippi with inventory 50% below 2019 is Anchorage, Alaska. Yes, Anchorage, Alaska has less inventory today than 2019. JP Morgan basically telling us that it predicts the fog of uncertainty to envelop markets throughout the rest of 2025. This, of course, from Fabio Bassi, JP Morgan strategist, really pointing out that the retail sales numbers that came out is hard data and really showing that the U.S. consumer is concerned, uncertain, and pulling back. Jeffrey Gunlock is continuing to talk about something that I am really concerned about, and this is the fact that investor capital, foreign investor capital, could start flowing out of the U.S. amid massive fiscal deficits. This would send the 10-year note dramatically higher and be a problem. If foreign investors recalibrate their allocations, we could have a problem. A couple more things and we'll wrap it up today. Lennar, one of the largest home builders, came out with earnings. Revenue down 7%. Even with that, they still beat expectations. They did miss on earnings, miss on margin, and lowered expectations or had weak guidance. Average sale price for Lennar down 9%, was over 420, now at 389. And then finally, don't forget to join School. We're heading our way to 400 active members. Once we get there, I will give you a free bonus. We will add the Las Vegas replay right there in the classroom for free. I think we need 9 more folks. I want to thank Dan for joining. Folks, I had to record this early as I got some stuff to do this morning, but I wanted to make sure this was out at 7:30 for you. Hope you appreciate that. Again, recording this early. Didn't have my normal setup, but we made it work. Again, Justin and Tracy, congratulations. Join School. Don't forget that Steadily is Landlord Insurance. I have used them every time policies come up. Sometimes they save me money, sometimes they don't, but we always give them a shot. Thank you. Take care. Later.